Okay, Astral Communion on turn 2. That's pretty impressive. You'd think I'd been for a good chance of winning this game, right? So, my opponent played a load of minions, gained a ton of armor, played Ysera Unleashed, did druid things. My response? TROGGZOR. That's right, TROGGZOR in a deck in 2020, and it works pretty well. But things were about to get even crazier, as you're about to see. My opponent would get super lucky. And he gets his own copy of TROGGZOR. Wow, my hope had been to get him to 5 health, Ultimate Infestation to his face and kill him. But he was able to stabilise, he was able to gain armour, and unfortunately for us, the longer this game went on, the more of a disadvantage we were going to be at. He even gets a taunt in play, so that's going to stall our progress even more. He drew his Dream Portals, he was able to buff the board with Savage Roar, of all things, to clear my board. And unfortunately, you know, we're at quite the disadvantage on board, but there's one thing that can save us, and that is Deathwing. Who expects Deathwing?
Sleep now.
Who expects Deathwing? And don't you just love this animation? It's beautiful. Power Incarnate. So, 1 minion on board, which is a 12/12. We have 6 Dream Portals in the deck and a couple of other minions. Poison Seeds, annoying, but maybe we can draw 6 dragons and put them on board and then smash him in the face the following turn and win the game. Or maybe not, because he's stabilising with more armor gain. This was a great back and forth matchup with this druid. No Dream Portals, which is frustrating. And when they say masterful, you know it's over, yes. UI to the face, which ironically was my plan. I had originally intended to UI his face at 5 and kill him. He kills me with UI. Fair play to him. Great game. And TROGGZOR actually managed to summon a Trog, which, from my experience of playing this deck, rarely happens. So great game. What deck am I playing today? Well, it's a Saturday, and happy Saturday to all of you that are watching this. This is Imik's Big Druid with Astral Communion. So, what makes this deck special? Well, ideally, you want to get Astral Communion in your opening hand. It's a 4-cost spell, gain 10 mana crystals, discard your hand. Hopefully, the cards you have in hand are not terribly important, so you discard them, you don't care. And then in the subsequent turns, you draw all of these big threats from the rest of your deck, and then just play them one by one and win the game. And that is the plan with the deck. Now, you can do some pretty crazy things with Lightning Bloom. You can cheat out Astral Communion on turn 2. You know, even if you don't draw Astral Communion, if you can ramp with Breath of Dreams and try and keep the board semi-clear with Wrath and Spellstone, there is a chance that if you can ramp into Guardian Animals, that you can still get a board presence going and still win the game the hard way through minion pressure. But I've been exceptionally lucky when playing this deck. I started playing it on casual because I was too scared to play it on the ladder, and I kept getting Astral Communion in the opening hand. I got so lucky. So I thought, okay, let's try and play this on the ladder now and see if that luck remains. The deck author does note on Twitter that this deck is capable of getting you to Diamond rank 5. I would absolutely agree. It's not a tier 1 deck by any means, so before you all go out and spend 14,040 dust, please remember this is more of a fun deck than a competitive deck, but it is capable of winning ladder games. You just need a little bit of luck with that Astral Communion. So let's have a look at the deck in action on the Wild Mode ladder, and we're going to start out against a Mage. So Lightning Breath seems like a good keep because I'm hoping to draw Astral Communion. If I don't get Astral Communion, I could always Lightning Bloom, coin Guardian Animals on turn 4, which is still pretty nuts, by the way, and can still win you games. So, Mr. Mage, no quest on 1. Okay. Oh, look, there's Astral Communion. And actually, we could play it on turn 1 because we have the coin as well. That's pretty crazy. How mental is this? How mental is this? The overload doesn't even matter. Well, it may matter if we draw a 10 drop. But still, we're in such a good position now. It almost doesn't matter what he does on these next 2 or 3 turns, because if we draw one big threat after another and just play them on the board, assuming it's not a Reno Mage with spells like Polymorph, he's going to be in a world of trouble. Now, we could completely whiff and just draw cards like Wrath and Spellstone, or another copy of Astral Communion. We could just whiff. But the plan is to try and draw those big threats. You can see he's taking his time, really thinking about this. Clearly concerned about how this game is going to go. Primordial Drake, I will absolutely take it. It's a playable 8-drop. And it's also a roadblock that's going to stop him hitting my face. We know it's Secrets Mage. Let's see if the Secrets Mage can keep up with us. I assume there is no way with 3 mana that he can kill this minion. He would need 4 mana and a Fireball, potentially. That's a playable minion. Embrace your rage, says Yashraj. And that's a 12 health taunt. I'll take that too.
I wonder.
So it'll be interesting to see if we can finish this game at 30 health. An incredible discovery. Another incredible discovery, but not enough to help him stabilize. That's disgusting. That's actually disgusting. And I actually feel guilty. I actually feel guilty with that board state. Okay.
Malfurion, how much you've grown.
Next game is a Druid. So I'm going to keep Lightning Bloom in the hopes we get Astral Communion. I'm also keeping Guardian Animals in case we don't get Astral Communion. So hopefully we can just ramp into, in this case, what would be a turn 5 Guardian Animals.
This be our neck of the
And it is Aggro Druid. This is... Oh, hello, Astral Communion. Thank you very much.
If I must.
Alright, how does he win this game? He wins this game by going super wide on the board and hoping I whiff with my draws on the next 2 or 3 turns. If he can go wide with an uncontested board, he can then Savage Roar, buff the board, and kill me. That's the plan for him.
What shall we hunt?
That's not a big minion. But it's
I must.
not a disaster either. It's allowed us to remove a token from the board. I think I'll take that. I think it's reasonable. What a cute squirrel. And another one. Oh, the buff? It's the buff. Okay. That's a TROGGZOR. I love TROGGZOR's entrance. And I love the artwork too, it's hilarious. Okay. He could trade and kill this. He can't buff the board, because if he buffs the board, we get a Trog. So maybe he just has to trade everything in. Or not. Just goes face, sure. You ignoring TROGGZOR? I guess that's the right play. He has to get the face damage in. That's a disgusting draw. That's actually a disgusting draw, because now we're filling our hand. We have options. Yeah. Those are some pretty disgusting options. We have choices. We could put a taunt down. We can shuffle Dream Portals into our deck.
Such wondrous.
We can play Yashraj and summon more threats. Or we could just destroy the entire board with Deathwing. Just wow. So we're going to play it safe, and we're just going to trade. The hope was that Yashraj would put a taunt out onto the board. There were some options to choose from the cards that remain in my deck. Good to see a taunt down, because you're always worried about Savage Roar shenanigans, right? That's what you're always worried about, or particularly double Savage Roar shenanigans. You can suddenly just find yourself very dead very quickly.
Such wondrous flora.
Buff the board? Give me a Trog? No? No buff the board? I bet he's got a buff effect in hand, but can't use it because of TROGGZOR. So, ladies and gentlemen, the meta breaker in 2020, the card that revolutionises the meta, is TROGGZOR. We're in no rush with this game. And I'm just keen to, you know, drag this game out for as long as possible, because I'm having so much fun. So we're just going to trade with everything and see what happens. This TROGGZOR sticking on the board. Yeah. Pretty nuts. Alright, time for a Warlock. So, could be a Q block, it could be a discard lock. Malagos Warlock? Is that even a thing? I don't think it's a thing in WoW mode. Okay, it looks like discard lock. Or some kind of Zoolock. So, I think it's important to try and contest his early board. We do have Astral Communion available to us. And that is going to be a coin turn 3 play. Until then, we need to try and stop the damage coming to our face. Because discard locks can build boards very quickly and can throw a lot of damage to your face in those early turns.
Hello, dear.
I greet you.
What is he thinking about? Oh, okay. And the trade, wow. Okay, he was debating whether to commit the Tiny Knight.
I must.
Thankfully for him, I have no removal for it. And the Tiny Knight is something that can get out of control very, very quickly. As you're seeing here, wow, all the way up to 5 attack, just like that. And ouch! An extra 4 to the face, wow. Well, it's time.
If I must.
And what we would really like to draw is a taunt. Or ultimate infestation. One of those two things. Or guardian animals, for that matter, would be okay too.
You were just a burden.
And we're nearly dead. Just in these first few turns. That's not a taunt. That's not a taunt.
Ye fall.
Wow. If it had been a taunt, I think we would have come back into that game. Okay, so Imik's Big Druid, featuring Astral Communion. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been so much fun. It's really brightened up my weekend and cheered me up a lot. So this is the kind of deck that you want to play if you want to have fun. If you're looking to ladder up with it, I think pre-Diamond rank 5, I think it's okay to try if you already have the cards. I wouldn't craft the cards just for this deck. But if you already have the cards, I think it is something that is worth trying just for the sake of fun and just to see what your RNG is like with drawing Astral Communion in the opening hand. As you saw in this video, I got pretty lucky, right? And I was fortunate to have that luck. I've looked at the reaction to this deck on Twitter because I made a post about playing this deck, and MTG Squirrel has said that I've tempted him with this deck, and you know, he's going to craft Astral Communion. He's going to craft the cards for the deck. And this dust is on my hands, apparently. Can I sleep with that? Was his parting comment. To MTG Squirrel, I say to you, sir, I hope this deck works out for you. I hope you have fun with it, which is the most important thing. And if you find the deck is not working for you, I do apologise. I will send you some triple chocolate cookies virtually as compensation. And I hope that they make up for any lost games that you experience. But I'd like to say a big thank you to Imik, or specifically Imik Plays, which is his Twitter handle. He's the deck author. He also writes for Hearthstone, by the way. I do see his posts on Hearthstone. But yes, he is the deck author. Thank you very much for giving me this crazy deck, which I've been able to feature today. If you have any more crazy decks, Imik, then please post them and maybe I'll try them. But thank you all very much for joining me, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. I know I say it every week. I hope you're staying safe. I hope you're staying well. And I will see you all again very soon, as always, for more Wild Mode fun.